Hello everyone, this video is going to cover the website evaluation guide. So this is actually going to be covering the actual ins and outs of the guide that you're going to have to fill out and submit for the assignment. So make sure that you've already looked at the selecting and evaluating resources video. That video is going to run you through how to properly assess and evaluate and select relevant authoritative websites and kind of what to look out for when you are selecting those websites, okay? And so when you come to this guide here, what I want you to do is either choose a website or find an article related to your topic on the web. So you can use Google, you can use Yahoo, Bing, whatever search engine you use to find information just on a regular website. And so that's basically what we're going to do is we're just going to look at and try to find relevant websites and relevant information on the web, and then take that information and kind of figure out how to properly analyze and evaluate that information for its relevancy and authoritativeness and currency, all that stuff related to the CRAP test that we covered in the selecting and evaluating resources video. And so you're going to take all of that knowledge and then apply it to this guide. So when you find the website or the article on a website that you want to use for this assignment, you're just going to start going through and using that article, using that overall website. And again, if you want to use just an overall website in total, like say you really want to use, let's say NFL.com. I'll just kind of keep using that example. I'll use that in another video. If you just want to cover that entire website and fill out this, that's fine. So if you want to cover an entire website and fill out this guide that way, that's fine. Or if you just want to specifically focus in on an article on that website and then evaluate that article on this guide, that's fine as well. Either way is perfectly okay with me. And so when you get that information, when you finally figure out what website you're going to use, that's where you'll put your website name here. Then you'll put your URL or the web address here, so that way I can access it and kind of, look through your guide and look through whatever source you decided to use, and link those up and make sure everything looks okay. The date that you accessed it, so the day that you actually access this material, that's the day you're going to put in there. Then you're going to look at scope and purpose. This is going to look at the depth of information, so how deep does this information go? How in-depth is the coverage of this information on the website or in the article? Again, coverage, how far does this coverage go? Does it, is it very just in the moment, instantaneous, or is it kind of reflective and investigative kind of coverage of an event? Type of page, is it advocacy? Is it government? Is it research? Is it commercial? Is it news? So it's kind of what you're going to look for there. Again, you're looking at the URL. So the ending of the URL, so the .edu, .gov, .com, .net, things like that is going to kind of tip you off as to which one of these you would want to, take off here. Audience, what is the level of complexity? Is it very specialized or is it general? It can be both. There are plenty of instances where it's both. If we continue using the NFL.com kind of thing, it is specialized. This is very specialized information towards football and the sport of football, especially professional football. But it's also very general. General audiences can read it and understand it, right? And so that's where you also kind of look for vocabulary, scholarly and simple. Like NFL.com is not very scholarly, but it is simple. So you would kind of check that off in that instance. And then what are the assumptions made about the reader? And assumptions made about the reader is, does this publication or does this website or does this article or does the author of the article assume that the reader already knows a great deal about the subject, right? Does the reader know about it? Are they kind of trying to introduce the reader into something, which would mean that, they're not expecting the reader to know quite as much about the information being given. And so that's what assumptions about the reader is about and covers. Authority, that's going to be the author name. If you're not using a specific article, author name would just be the overall organization that's running the website. The author credentials, if you are using a specific article, and it does have an author attached to it, and that's where you would put like any information that is listed in a bio. If there is no bio listed, again, that's something that you may want to list here. There's no bio given, which would then lower the authority in terms of that author and in terms of that information. And then hosting organizations, again, that's going to be the overall organization that's running the website. So you would just kind of have that in there as well. All right, and then objectivity. Is this facts-based? Is it opinions? Is it propaganda? Viewpoint and bias. Is there a specific viewpoint or a specific bias trying to be reported in this information? Financial support. Is there sponsorships? Is there donation requests? Is there advertising? Again, a lot of times, all three of these can affect the bias of the information. And then currency. This is going to be where you're going to be looking at when this information was written, when the information was collected, and when is information collected? That's if you're just kind of seeing, especially if you're looking at a specific article, kind of dates that the author is talking about when information was collected. If it's an overall website evaluation that you're doing, then you would just kind of just see like the date exactly. So it'd be when it was written would also be when the information was collected in that case. So you would just be kind of looking at the most up-to-date information on that website. And then you would put on here whether they update it frequently or not frequently. Not frequently would be something like if they're not updating it in months. If it's been a few days, that's frequent enough. So you can actually do frequently there. But not frequently is something that if it's like a very, very extended amount of time between updates or between articles. And then can you access previous versions or archives? This is if it gives you the option to access past material. So if it gives you access to past articles and past issues of something, or just archives information or news in a specific way where you can access dated materials, then that would be a yes. If you cannot access any dated materials at all on the website, then that would be a no. Okay, and then all I want you to do is just give me a very brief kind of synopsis of how this website meets your needs. So basically, this is going to be your annotation. So if this was going to be like an annotated citation, this would be your annotation down here. So just kind of follow the same rules that I've given before with the other annotated citations. Somewhere around 100 to 200 words or so is really probably all you're going to need for down here. It doesn't need to be overly extensive. So I've also included an example in your materials where I went to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology because I'm kind of a bird nerd. And I just kind of use that as an example to kind of go through. And so please look at this example and just kind of look at how I've answered each one of these options and each one of these characteristics with the guide. And that's kind of very similar to what I'm expecting and what I'm looking at for you guys when you kind of do your website evaluation and kind of running through. So I'm not going to go through this example step by step because I've already went through the guide step by step. But please kind of take the guide and take this example and kind of compare and contrast and just kind of see what I'm looking for and what I'm expecting with each one of these sections and in terms of how I want you to evaluate and write. And as you can see down here with your overall statement, it can just be a very basic statement. It does not need to be overly complex. Just a basic idea of that you understand what this website's giving you, how it's presenting this information to you, and how relevant that information is going to be to your overall topic, and whether you could actually use it as a relevant source, right? If you find a website, you find an article, and you feel like it's not relevant, state that. That's perfectly okay. But just so I can have a general idea that you understand kind of the evaluation process and how it applies to the relevancy of this resource to your overall research. Okay? And so that's going to basically cover it, guys. So just make sure that you're viewing all the videos. Make sure that you pay very, very close attention to the website evaluation guide as you're going through your website. And if you want to clear the website with me, that's fine. You don't have to. But if you're just a little bit concerned that maybe you're not, on the right path, or you're just a little bit confused, as always, please contact me, email me, come and visit me in the library. I'm always available. Just let me know when you want to drop by and we can set something up. Otherwise, best of luck on this assignment, guys. And that's it. See you.